eBay has finally realized that its feedback removal system for sellers was completely and utterly a failure. And now they're making changes. Hey, welcome back into the channel, Rockstars. It is June 20th, Thursday afternoon, 2024, of course. And huge announcement just yesterday / the day before on eBay's seller community boards. If you're not familiar with them, I will link it down below so you can check it out. eBay realizes finally that their feedback removal automation tool for sellers is garbage. So if you don't remember, at the beginning of this year, I did a video, it might have actually even been the end of last year, where eBay sort of changed the feedback removal. If you had concierge, or even if you were top rated seller plus, or you were just like experienced or had a good history, you could contact eBay, call them and say, hey, look, I got this feedback. It's completely unfair. For example, I had somebody who ordered an item and everything I did was right. The item was fine. They were just like, oh, this item doesn't work exactly the way I thought it was going to work. It's terrible, negative feedback for the seller. And so I called them. I'm like, hey, this has nothing to do with what I did. They're just not happy with the product because the product isn't what they were expected. They left me a negative feedback. Boom, it was removed in like 3 seconds, right? And I have concierge, so it was always removed. But even without concierge, they would remove that. Well, then they put in that automated. So when you would call, they wouldn't do anything. You had to click on the automated feedback removal request, and then it would go into like basically an automated system that would determine whether that feedback was merited or not. Now, if somebody put like FU in it, then it would remove it, right? Because it would detect that. But other than that, it was like a 95% denial. Like you would not get anything removed. I had two. I had 100% positive feedback for 14 straight months with no feedback, no negatives, selling thousands and thousands of items. I got two. One of them completely unwarranted, and the other one 50-50. I don't believe I did anything wrong. He doesn't believe he did. But regardless, I called and they were just, even with concierge, they were like, nope, put it through the system. Put it through the system. Almost instantly, within minutes, it was denied. Like no takedowns, no take backsies, just ridiculous garbage, especially on the one, right? Like where the person's like, clear and concise in the messages. They don't take the messages into account. It's just garbage. So now eBay, after what, the better part of 6, 7 months, 8 months, has decided they are wrong and this has failed. So they put out this message on the forum boards, which I'm going to take you to. We'll read over it, and then you can let me know what you think about this feedback change. I want to thank E-commerce Bites. Ina Steiner, of course, put this out as a story. She did one like a week or two ago. And also my good friend Trish Glenn from List Perfectly, the best cross-listing platform in the world. They're down below. She put out a notice in their Facebook group as well, letting everybody know about this feedback change. So thank both of them. Go check out List Perfectly if you need cross-listing, and you can save 30%, Rockstar LP with the discount code. But let's go over to eBay's community forum board and look at the announcement they put out and look at the change they're doing on this feedback. Okay, so here we are from the eBay seller news team. This is their direct account. Andrea Stairs, who is eBay's VP of Global Regulatory Trust and Monetization, provided the following update on feedback at our recent summer seller check-in. A more fair experience for sellers and buyers. Over the last year, it became increasingly clear that our feedback removal policies had become more and more arbitrary, which means garbage, which was creating inconsistent and sometimes unfair experiences for both the sellers and buyers. In response, we began to work to create a more streamlined and consistent process for sellers to ask for feedback removals that was grounded in policy and didn't depend on who, how, or when you asked for feedback to be removed. That was one of the things. It would totally depend on the agent that you got on the phone back when they did that through the phone, which is why they changed it to automated, because they didn't want it to be a bad agent or a good agent giving you the right or wrong answer, right? It went from bad to worse, just putting that out there. However, as these changes were put into action, they exposed gaps in our underlying policy so that some feedback removal requests were rejected in situations where you deserve to be protected. The words duh and you think come to mind. Come on, guys. We take responsibility for these gaps and for not fixing them before we made changes to the removal processes. Hey, this is pretty much every business we deal with. Like, we put something out there. Macari, hello, ding, ding, ding. We put something out there without even thinking about the consequences or making sure it was right. Imagine that. Since this spring, we've been working to update our policy. New changes to the feedback policy. We're glad to announce that more than a dozen feedback policy changes have now taken effect on eBay. As we go forward, we'll be adding more use cases where feedback removal is warranted. For just one example, we will remove feedback when a seller denies a buyer's cancellation request because per eBay policy, a seller has discretion to accept or deny a cancellation request. So if a buyer cancels an item, so they're saying when a seller denies a buyer's case, so a buyer puts in a cancellation request and you deny it and you ship the item anyway and they leave you negative feedback, they're going to remove that. My only caveat to that is, why would you force a buyer to take an item that they clearly changed their mind on? You're just opening yourself up for like an item not as described, or for them to screw with the item and send back rocks, or a million other things they could do. I'd never force. If a buyer asks me to cancel it and I haven't shipped it yet, I'm canceling. Even if I printed the label, I'll void the label, get the money back, and cancel it. I'm not going to force someone to take an item that's just going to end badly, right? Finally, we're dedicating staff to finding and investigating more removal inconsistencies. What that means is when you submit the form via the seller help to request a feedback removal, eBay team members will be able to remove feedback in more scenarios and do so more consistently. Removal requests will be reviewed individually by our customer service agents. That's what they're saying. No more automation. Removal request will be reviewed individually by our customer service agents. It's right there in writing. Screenshot it, take it down, put the ink and your blood on it. That's what it says. Thank you for your input. Thank you again for the partnership, your honest and unfiltered comments about feedback. Please keep them coming. So, do I buy it? Well, let me put this out there. I don't trust anyone or any business. I don't believe anyone, and I don't believe any business. There are very, 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 very few people I do business with or that I completely just believe what they're going to say. And I don't mean my customers or my clients and my services. I love all my customers' clients. I mean the people that actually have responsibility for what I'm doing. My listing partner, Tim, A1 number one guy. Drive time with Dave, my old buddy Dave, most of the time A1 number guy. My buddy Chris Thompson from Wholesale CNC, A+ number one guy. My fiance, A+ number one. Most anybody else outside of my sponsors, like My Reseller Genie, List Perfectly, Mark II, there's only a small list of them. eBay doesn't make that list. I don't always believe what they say. I'm sorry, eBay. I'll believe it when I see it. So the next time I get a negative feedback request and I have to put it through, I'll do a video for you guys. We'll video the process. All right, that's it for Thursday, June 20th, 2024. You guys believe eBay? Do you think they'll do it individually? Do you think they'll make better choices and get rid of feedback? If you guys do have a feedback removal and you have to put it through, or if you've had one recently in, say, the last couple of weeks, please comment down below, or please come back later and let me know. Email me, rockstarflipper@gmail.com. Tag me on social media, Instagram at rockstarflipper, TikTok, Casey at rockstarflipper. Just let us know. Let us see the results. Let's put the proof in the pudding, right? Let's put eBay to the test. And if you get your feedback removed that was unfairly received, awesome. If you don't, we'll call eBay out on it some more, right? Until we get it right. Okay, I think that covers it all. Thank you guys as always. Appreciate it. Thumbs up. Share the video, please. It means more to me than if you hit the like button or subscribe or do any of that stuff. Share this video on Instagram and tag me at RockstarFlipper. Share this video on your TikTok. Share it in your Facebook groups, wherever you're allowed to share it or you can get away with it. Please do and tag me so I can see it. And that'll about cover it. I want everybody to know about these changes. That's what we do. We bring you the news. Thank you as always. And do think about hitting the like button and subscribing, coming back for future videos, because that's how you'll get all these news updates. It's real easy. They're down there and down there. And until those next videos, I'll see everyone later.